I know how to count. Piss off. I know how to count. Amber, you do the introduction. I'm not doing it. I'm mad at everybody again. No, I'm not doing the introduction. You can do it. You can do it. You're on your own.
Welcome to the stream. Today we've learned that doesn't know how to count. Right. What a great start. Welcome to our spooky Halloween stream. Look.
The frightening thing is math.
Oh God, we haven't even gotten started on that yet. Counting. Welcome to our spooky Halloween stream. You might notice that we are missing Apollo. Unfortunately, they got caught up with something last minute, so I just am stuck with these three. I hope they can make up for it.
Dare, of course.
Welcome. We are the Dungeon, and we are going to be playing Brindlewood Bay. You should know who all of us are. I don't know if we need introductions to us. If you're here, you should know us. If not, figure it up.
So that's
We're coming in hard. Fast, let's go.
Where's the line Amber and now? I don't know anymore.
It's the same person. It's fine. All right. I'll allow you to do introductions. I'm Amber. I normally don't do the DMing, so I don't know if they're in for a treat or in for a terrible time, but I guess we'll find out. I'm Fess on Romance on Dungeon, and sometimes I creep up on other things. Next.
related to podcasts and D&D, not just like random things that she creeps up on.
You never. Don't tell me.
I've been on a boat. You want me to go next in order of stream left to right?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It'll be you after me, Louise. I'm Ben. You might recognize my voice from Dungeon, and you might recognize my face from some streaming I used to do almost a year ago. But I've been on some Drive stuff, and can't wait for tonight.
Hello, I'm Louise. I play Fia on the Dungeon, and like Amber, I sometimes stronger my way into other games when I get the opportunity to.
And I'm Declan, and I am going to give Amber a living nightmare tonight's session. I am normally the DM around these parts at D8 Dungeon. Amber occasionally picks up the mantle, refuses to let me bully her into doing a long-term adventure because I think she'd be amazing at it. Outside of my time with D8 Dungeon, I also play in a Tale of D20s. I play a campaign there. And yeah, I'm super looking forward to playing A Party to Die For. I've always wanted to try Brindlewood Bay, so perfect excuse, perfect time.
Oh yeah. You weren't in it that other time I ran it.
Nope.
Well, here we go. So we are playing Brindlewood Bay tonight. We're running the Halloween adventure, which is I don't know, called something else. Hang on. All Hallows Scream. So if you have it or in the game, that's the adventure I'm running tonight. The actual adventure is too much like this because we are shifting it into the romance and Dungeon universe. Normally it's just a bunch of humans in a cozy little town. This is maybe a little bit different. But we'll keep the vibe. And it's not usual D&D. It's a kind of murder mystery game. If you play it in a longer campaign, it becomes a spooky cult game. So we can't get into that unfortunately because it's a bit of build up needs to happen before the cult members arrive. So we'll be playing a murder mystery tonight. I've run it a couple of times. I really like it. I think it's really fun, and it just gives everyone a chance to kind of play your favorite Murder She Wrote or Clue or whatever it is you grew up on, and who doesn't want to just live that life, right?
literally grew up as a child watching Angela Lansbury solve murders, and then also playing a woman who solves murders.
And she was a teapot.
She was. That solved murders.
Yeah.
Solved the murder of all those people who turned back when they were in the drawers. Think about it.
No, God, I don't want to.
Oh no.
All right. Okay. I think that murder was solved as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
It was Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Let's hop in. Very excited. So we open cinematically on sort of a top-down scene of this beautiful, not quite paved, but also not totally messy dirt road, sort of leading into this quiet little town. And the trees rustle in the dark, and we hear beneath us a bit of a grunting, a squealing, a snorting of hogs as our gang ride up to the house that they've been invited to. Their leader, Estrella, had received a invitation that might not have been intended for her, but it fell into her hands. So the guys are going anyway. And they have been invited to a party at Abner Biddle's home. He is a renowned playwright, but he's known more for sort of odd, B-rated kind of horror comedy shows. But he's well known. He's a bit odd, bit eclectic, but he's very much loved in the town. And we come in on our three gang members. Do you consider yourself a gang, or are you something less intense?
It's a coven of wild hogs.
Coven. Okay. Apologies. We zoom in on our coven riding their hogs, kicking dirt up behind them as they go down the road. Beautiful scenery, trees all turning orange and yellow, leaves falling, a sound of waves crashing along the coast in this little town. And we are in Nevermount, which is just about 2 days northeast of Galeshire, so close and quite affluent, but still kind of quiet and cozy. And our ladies ride up to this beautiful, not quite a mansion, but a proper old Georgian home. Definitely a little bit out of their pay grades, but this is Abner's home. Look, you can't claim what you make, Estrella, because you'll have to pay taxes on it. So. Yeah. So on paper, well out of your pay grade.
Fair enough.
And as they pull up, hogs squealing and hooves crashing into the ground, there's a butler at the door who kind of jumps back a little bit, not quite expecting this to be the transportation anyone's riding in on. But gathers himself up and stands up straight and sort of gives a little bow and says, "Welcome. Invitations, please."
Invitations, and Estrella's gonna turn around to her hog and just like shoulder deep into its mouth, and just pull out the invitation, and just there you go, my fine young man, and she's gonna slap it into his open palm.
He takes it and just kind of holds it away from him, and it's just dripping, and the ink is kind of smudged, so he squints at it, and he's trying to read the name, and he knows most guests only get a +1, but he thinks it looks like someone scribbled something out and put +2, and he's just kind of squinting at it, but because he can't read it, and because you look a little bit terrifying, he just kind of drops it to the ground next to him and like wipes his hands off and just goes, "Right, Miss I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry.
Marilla Whistlecoil."
Of course, and he kind of pauses and thinks, and the name sounds kind of familiar. And he can't quite place it, but he just, of course, Mr. Coyle. And he steps back and gestures you in. As you walk in, what does Estrella look like? What is her costume for the night? What has she got going on?
So Estrella is on the lamb on the hogs, because she is the first person to have broken out of Galeshire City Prison. So her costume is also doubling as her alias, and she's dressed up as her dead twin sister, Marilla Coyle.
What she has to do to herself, to make herself not Estrella.
Just this one white everything else. She didn't change her tattoos. She hasn't changed her clothes. She's just put one white streak into her hair, and that's enough as far as she's concerned.
Because we did give you Nate merch, though.
Oh, yes. And also, she's wearing her famous Nate merch.
Incredible. Okay. As you step in, Marilla, Estrella, whoever you are, mystery woman, it opens into this beautiful ballroom, chandelier hanging from the ceiling, roaring fire in a giant fireplace down at the end. A number of butlers with trays of food and drink and a load of people. Some you kind of recognize. A lot of people are in kind of masks, just milling about and chatting with each other. And the floor is kind of yours. And the other two, I imagine, follow in.
Yeah.
Do you leave your hogs outside? Do they know to kind of stay put? Do you park them?
I pick the back leg of one just to, kick up in its kickstand, and it knows to stay there. And I'm like, easy, sugar. I'll be back for you later, Miss Tilda Swindon.
I go to mine, I put their ear cozies that I've knitted onto their ears. And I just give it a little pat in the middle of its head, trying to avoid its snout. I was like, see you later, bugger.
Estrella is gonna lean out the door, like that really, like kind of as uncouthly and unmannerly as possible, and just like, oi, Fia, watch the others.
You dirtbag, absolute dirtbag.
Ben, as you follow in, will you introduce your Maven, what she looks like, what she's dressed like, a little bit about her, and what she's doing here tonight? I believe she might have a connection to the party.
Yeah, she for to make it cinematic. Starting from the bottom up, you see sort of knee-high strapped leather boots that connect then to a pair of apple-bottom jeans. She got a booty. You got a booty. And then she's wearing a white sort of tank top with a black denim jacket over it, a little sort of the Coven touch, a little neckerchief around. She's big, voluptuous hair, just like beautifully there, flowing behind her. Her nails are perfectly done. She looks potentially a little younger than the rest of the wild hogs. Whether that's due to her lineage or due to her age, no one will know, and I won't tell. And just by her side there is her ring of keys would set any child with their dad off. And get the woman wondering. She's the kind of woman Jolene would be scared of as she sways hips out into the party, blowing a little kiss back towards the porter, and goes, "Orlean Belga, pleasure."
He kind of blushes a little bit and looks away, but as you walk past, you kind of see him looking back over his shoulder at you, or at part of you as you walk inside. And Louise, you follow in. Do you want to introduce your Maven, a little bit about her?
Yeah, so you see this, I'd say middle-age-ish, on the younger side of middle-age-ish. Dwarf. Quite stocky, big burly hands, and she has her neckerchief like me wrapped around her hair back out of her face. And she kind of walks in with a strut to like make herself look bigger than she is, to just fill up the space. And as she goes past the porter, she just gives him a little bit of a death stare. Maxi. And then walks on in.
As you walk kind of up to him, he's still looking over his shoulder back at Arlene a little bit, and you stop and stare at him, and he can feel it. He's not looking at you, but he can feel it, and his head kind of very slowly turns back and catches your eye, and you give him your name, and he just kind of like wince a little bit because he wasn't expecting you to be so intense. And as you walk in, he also turns to watch you walk in, but it's in fear, not as much in admiration. Which it sounds to me like is exactly what she wants.
Yeah, but then if you notice, on hanging off of the back of her hip is a little pouch, and two knitting needles are sticking out of it.
Threateningly?
No, just very cutely compared to how she presents herself.
Okay, cute. Very good. So three of you walk in this beautiful old home again, sort of decked out for Halloween, but in a classic way. Little cutouts of bats and little ghosts and pumpkins, and nothing too kiddie, but you know, very tasteful. All the candles are black instead of like a white wax. The flames seem to give out sort of a stronger glow than you'd expect, sort of a magical glow to them. And you can see the ballroom is open to yourselves. There's a sitting room off to your right, and just sort of some extra space off to your left. Like they just kind of opened the front of the house up to everyone to kind of wander around and chat with each other. And as you walk in, you see a couple faces you do recognize. So you see. Sorry, now. So you see Elena Visage. She is a half-elf that you recognize. She is an actress who works with Abner. And you've seen a couple of their shows, you know of them again as well. She is dressed as a vampire. Sort of in the old Hollywood way, sort of Elvira-esque, tight black dress, long black dress, long nails, a bit of sort of red gems and some jewelry around the neck, and some pointed teeth sticking out. You see as well Coco, who is Abner's wife. She is entertaining a small group of sort of other middle-aged women as well, who it's a little clique. You know how these women, they're all kind of part of the theater, part of Abner's little circle. They always kind of sway his opinion on the shows a little bit. They get to kind of get what they want in the shows, and there's a bit of animosity there. With that little clique, because people think that she ruins his work and what he does. But she's standing over there with her friends chatting. You know that her and Abner have been together for about 40 years. So she's not going anywhere anytime soon. And you also know her to be a little bit airheaded. Is the gossip going around. There's a load of other people in as well, and you can kind of wander off and explore however you'd like, or ask questions if you'd like to, but the floor is yours.
Estrella, having kind of walked in, is just kind of heavy tutting and everything. Like, vermin everywhere. And they didn't even bother to clean, and she's pulling down some of the cobweb decorations, just making a point of just being absolutely awful. I mean, look at this. What a dump. I thought Abner had money, and she and not being even remotely, subtle about it. Like, she is just critiquing quite loudly as she just barges through.
Okay. As she does that, she kind of as you're pulling down all these cobweb and stuff, she kind of accidentally elbows this woman in the back. She's quite a bit taller than you, a little younger than yourself. This is mostly a party of people, kind of 40s, 50s, 60s. She's a little taller than you. She has this beautiful blonde hair, but when you look at it for an extra second, you can tell it's a wig. And she's in this kind of what we would know as like a 50s kind of sock costume. She's got her poodle skirt and that kind of going on. And as you elbow her in the back, she spins around and she's like, oh! Who are you?
I'm Marilla. Whistle coil. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And she's going to keep her elbow up, really, like as if to shake it.
She kind of looks you up and down, and you can see her face kind of calm, and she just lovely to meet you. And she lightly touches your elbow and just gives it a little bit of a pat, a little bit of a push. That's kind of like do you know Abner and Coco? Were you invited?
Oh, do I know Abner and Coco? Oh, we go way back, Abner and Coco and I. Oh, the stories I could tell you about Abner, Coco, and I. I wouldn't, because it would be you'd just be embarrassed. There's just so many. I'm a muse of his. Like some say all the dames in his movies are all inspired by yours truly. I can't help it. I'm attractive.
She looks you up and down, and then she looks over at Elena. And kind of looks her up and down his star.
I know,
yeah.
I don't like to overshadow. I tend to stay in the background. Obviously, let Jane over there have her moment. In the spotlight. I'm very humble.
Right. Of course.
And your name is? I didn't quite catch it there.
Oh, June Willoughby.
Oh, June Willoughby. No, that's strange. Coco and Abner have never mentioned you to me before. June Willoughby.
She grits her teeth a little bit, and you see her eyes kind of split over to Abner. Oh, didn't he? They haven't?
Maybe in passing, maybe. I don't speak ill or anything. How do you happen to know the darling Abner and Coco?
Well, I'm a local, and I've been to every one of his shows, and I just think he's just such a genius. And I wish he would have found himself a better wife. Coco's just everything here is so beautiful, and he's so elegant. Just by this cheap champagne. No taste. That woman.
Let me have a sip of that there, June. Let me have a sip of that there. And I'm just gonna reach for June's glass.
She kind of holds it up at your reach for a second, but then she looks at it and just like very slowly passes it over to you, very clearly confused.
Just take a very slight tiny and sucking it through her teeth. That's 1 moment, and she's going to turn around, she's going to turn her back to June, and neck the whole glass, and then turn back. And hand it kind of back up to her. Now I know why Abner and Coco. June, they have mentioned you before, June. They've said you're that obnoxious woman who doesn't keep her opinions to herself.
And she's so offended. She doesn't even know how to respond. She takes the glass back from you without thinking, and then realizes it's empty, and just starts reaching out to try and find somebody with a tray she can sit it on, and uses that as an opportunity to kind of get away from you. She just follows somebody who's walking away with a tray and just goes, excuse me, and runs away from you to try and put this glass down.
Just gonna turn back to the other two. Did I say something wrong?
I think you were quite polite. I mean, Marilla.
Marilla.
Yeah. Very polite, considering that they don't seem to have beer here. I wouldn't be that polite.
I'm sure we'll find you a bucket of something to drink. Don't worry, Maxie. We'll get you sorted. Champagne's too classic for your taste. It's okay. We'll get you something nice. Why don't we fan out in case... enjoy the party.
Sure. I'll walk over towards if there's a bar, table, counter, that direction, to kind of scope the place out as well as try and get myself a decent drink.
So I'd say there's nobody serving, but the room to your left sort of has very high, like ceiling high bookshelves, and in the middle is a glass case with what is very clearly just loads of different alcohols. You can assume quite expensive alcohols, and they're just behind these glass doors, kind of in the middle of the bookcases. The bookcases.
To see if you can open it.
It is locked.
You know, shake. I'm not being subtle at all.
Everything kind of rattles. And a book falls off the shelf next to you. And a man standing there who was talking to somebody else turns around and kind of gives you a little smile and leans over and picks it up and hands it to you. And when he does, you catch these piercing blue eyes, very like chiseled features. He's old enough, but in that like very handsome grey fox kind of a way. And he's not in a costume at all. He's just in a really nice suit. And he hands you the book and he kind of smiles at you and just goes, "Not a fan of the current offerings, are we?
Not my taste, really. No.
I tell you what," and he kind of looks behind him a little bit, and he reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a little flask, twists it open, takes a little sip himself, and hands it over to you.
Ah, so this is where the party is. And I take it and take a big slug.
It is a very strong fiery whiskey. Is that something that Max is into? Okay. Burns as it's going down. And instead of grimacing, you just kind of smile and take another swig of it. And the man smiles at you and just kind of gives a little chuckle and holds out his hands and says, Marcus Greaves. I'm Abner's manager.
Ah, finally. Someone here who has decent drink taste. What is this whole trad going on in here anyway? Like, is this a yearly thing or something? It's my first time here.
Oh, right. How do you know Abner?
I'm just a plus one.
Oh, right. I see. Okay. Abner is a big horror fan. I'm assuming you know of him?
I'm sure Marilla does.
Okay. Well, look, Abner is a bit of a celebrity in the town. He makes sort of fun little horror plays. He's a playwright.
Is there blood in them?
Yeah. Blood sometimes. Bit of gore, bit of pus, bit of I don't know, spiders. Whatever it is you like, he's probably done it.
Actually. So what's you rent this place out or something or?
Oh no, this is his home.
He lives in this joint.
I mean, for the town, this is. Other than the mayor's house, this is one of the biggest houses in town.
Too right. I'd hate to have to clean it.
Sure, he doesn't do that. Don't you worry, he has himself made.
And sure, does he just do plays in the town here, or does he travel everywhere else? Like, how do you make your money? Like,
oh, he travels. He's in Galeshire quite a lot. They love him out there, and this time of year especially, he's quite busy. But he always makes time for his Halloween parties.
Nice to do. Anyway, thanks for this, and I walk off with a flask.
He pauses, but you just hear him kind of chuckling behind you. He was happy to run into somebody a little less stuffy and a little more interesting in town, because he rubs elbows with these ones all the time.
What was his name again? The manager?
Marcus Greaves. What is Orlean up to?
Disappear. Orlean looks around and realizes for the first time of year that this is a costume party on a real vampire, on a real man in a suit. And so she's going to strut towards the nearest ladies' room, and the door swings one way and then swings the other, and instantly she's out in a full skin tight catsuit, and it seems like she's just gotten some eyeliner and just drawn on like some whiskers. Now that's a little more my speed. She scans the room for the person she knows, but she doesn't want to talk to him just yet. I think she wants to go over to Abner.
Okay. So you change your costume and you have a little glance around the room. And you find over in the corner of sort of that first main ballroom, Gordon, the guy you're looking for, is over there chatting with a couple other men in sort of half-assed costumes. You know, kind of like a suit with a funny hat on, they try to tell you it's something, but it's not a costume at all. But you do see him over there, and he has just some really bad green face paint on. And he's kind of slicked down his hair to be a sort of a Frankenstein's monster. But again, he's just in a suit. He's just kind of colored his face to the green and just kind of brushed his hair down, like oiled it down a little bit. And he's off in the corner. But you're going to ignore him and head over to Abner?
Yes, please.
So Abner is in the sort of the lounge with the big fireplace roaring. He's sitting in a chair, and there's kind of a semicircle in front of him. And he's telling a story about his most recent trip to Galeshire and how the play went. And, it was such an incredible success. And, you know, I'm pretty sure I've broken the world record for how far I've gotten fake blood to spray across the stage. And he's just singing his own praises there to a bunch of fans. Abner himself is dressed up in a bit of a mummy costume, but it's very nice. It's very proper. The bandages all look kind of dirty and ripped, and all you can really see is his eyes and a bit of skin at the fingers and like his knees. And he's just animatedly telling this story.
Orlean waits for the socially acceptable time, which is right now, to butt in. And goes, I'm not much one for plays myself. I find life has enough drama in it. And she just lays across the back of his chair. He goes like, so why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Mighty kind of you to invite us to your party, Mr. Abner.
He pauses and just kind of leans back and up and looks at you. And before he says anything to you, you can see him kind of scan the room, and his eyes stop a couple of times on a couple of people. But he smiles and sort of leans back in like that really suave way, like over the arm, and leans back up and looks at you and just goes, well, miss, mighty fine to have you.
Miss Orlean Belgyle, but play your cards right and we might get to know each other better than first name basis.
Well, and you can see him kind of flushing, like, while he's used to a lot of attention, it's not normally this kind of attention. And he kind of smiles out of the corner of his mouth and holds his hands up and goes, well, I assume you know myself. I'm Abner Vidal. Nice to meet you. Who brought you here? I don't believe you were on my invitation list.
Well, I am here with a few people, but I am a +1, so that's why I thought only polite of me to introduce myself to you, Sugar.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you. Have you had a drink? Have you? And he just kind of starts snapping his fingers to get someone over.
No, I would love one. I'm positively parched.
Perfect, absolutely. And he's snapping frantically and just waving. It's like, somebody, what would you like? Anything you like? Come on, somebody get over here.
I put my hand on his hand and just lower it down onto the couch and go, it's okay, I'm sure they'll be around. No.
Yeah. And you can feel his hand kind of like twitching under yours. Like he's not sure. Should he like grab your hand? Should he just sit there?
I'll use his hand to point around the room. Like, now tell me about some of these fine people in the room. Who am I sharing my company with?
Oh yeah. And he just kind of points at this woman and he's like, this is
I thought you
Carolyn,
were an orator.
Carolyn. No, Carolyn. Her name is Carolyn. She runs the bakery in town. That's and well, shoot. I think I've forgotten their names. And he goes bright red.
That's okay, Mr. Abner. Happens to the best of us.
I'm gonna go get you that drink. What would you like? What? Anything you'd like.
I don't suppose you'd have some sort of vintage scotch?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. You wait here. And he kind of slides up out of his chair and then like grabs you by the shoulders and directs you into it, and just like gives you a little like hang on a second finger and scrambles out of the room.
Seemingly from who knows where, because this is skin tight. I just pull out a flask of whiskey and sip from it.
This semicircle now is sitting around you, and they're all just kind of like one eyebrow raised, but also really impressed and really confused and kind of turned on and a little bit scared.
Nice.
And they're just kind of looking at you like, are you gonna tell us stories now? Should we leave?
Yeah, I'll start Should kind of telling a story about something I make up about growing up in Arcanum, holding court here in Mr. Abner's place, but mostly using it as a position to like keep an eye on the room. I'm looking for two things: one, for trouble, always, and two, the tallest drink of water I can find.
Okay. You do see that man again in the Frankenstein costume he's away from his group, and he's not quite in the room, but he is hanging around the doorway, sort of just leaning up against the door jamb, kind of arms crossed, and just the smallest smile on his face as he's watching you just like pull these stupid stories out of nowhere. And he just tries to kind of catch your eye and like tips his glass of champagne up at you a little bit. And while you see that sort of in the doorway, you can also see out of the corner of your eye in sort of a dark corner is a man sort of shuffling through a desk that you hadn't noticed. And you hear him kind of banging into drawers, and like he whacks his knee a little bit, and he's just kind of sifting through things. You can tell he's trying to be quiet, but he's really bad at it.
If I can catch Maxie or Estrella's eye, I'll just give them a little kind of like clicky wink over to the man. All right, little desk shuffle over here. This is a party, not a business parlor.
I'd say Estrella's probably closest, and she'd catch you. So whether or not she wants to.
Yeah, Estrella's got a mouth.
A little tale about a desk shuffler. He used to deal some cards back where I'm from. He used to shuffle the desks. Decks. Over the desk, over there, the shuffling.
Okay, and what's that got
Very
to do with me?
Suspiciously.
Oh, you mean that guy? Okay, she's just gonna walk over. She's just gonna sidle right up, like I think she's gonna try and be kind of stealthy about it. You're like do the way old ladies can just like hover, so she's just gonna do that and like just kind of like right up next to him, in the hopes that he doesn't kind of see her or notice her, but she does just want to like be there and to see what he's doing before she interrupts him.
Okay, so you are kind of trying to sneak in? Okay, so we're going to do a day move roll. So that I'd say that's composure.
Okay, I have a +1 to my composure.
Okay.
That is a 10.
Okay, so that is a pass. You kind of slide up, and do you go to kind of stand next to him or sit on the desk?
I literally want to kind of like, I mean, like, Estrella is a gnome, so like, but I mean, she does kind of want to get like right up beside him and kind of just watching what he's doing. Does she notice anything before? She's about to interrupt him, but does she notice anything like that he's specifically doing?
Yeah, so he's just kind of going through these drawers and rifling through some papers. And he's doing it slow enough that you can catch kind of what appears to be like property information and maybe something about like property investments and that kind of a thing. And he doesn't even notice. You walk straight up and he doesn't notice you until you kind of put your head over his hands and like look down at what he's doing in the drawer. And then he just kind of drops everything and jumps up and he's like, oh my God, what are you?
At that exact moment, she's just going to turn her head like an owl, like straight around. Who are you?
I'm Sam Turlington. I'm Abner's business partner. Why are you in the desk?
In the desk. Oh no. I couldn't help but notice you, Mr. Turlington.
Notice me what?
Your silhouette, it's quite noticeable.
So it actually is, because he is dressed as sort of Phantom of the Opera. So from across the room, all you could see was this sort of big, like roundish shape, because he was hunched over and the cloak was hanging straight down over him. So he was just a giant black blob in the corner. As he straightens up now, you can see it's, a nice suit. He does have the mask on, which just makes this whole conversation kind of that much sillier, because you can only see half of what his face is doing. And he just kind of throws the cape back over his shoulders so that his arms are free. And he's just like, ma'am, can I help you?
You can help me by... What's that over there? And she's just going to point to something random in the room.
Are you trying to distract him?
Yeah, but in that sort of like, what's over there? And just kind of then like scarp her out.
Yeah.
Okay, Jade Essence Hall.
Yeah. Give me a presence.
That's a 0. That's a 9 though.
Okay. So a 9 is a pass, but with a condition. So he goes to look, but as he's turning his head, his hand also slams the drawer shut. And he doesn't see anything, and he looks back at you, and he's like, ma'am, will you please go rejoin the party? And he kind of puts his arm around your shoulder and tries to like corral you out.
I'm married, buddy. I'm married.
I'm not. I promise I'm not trying anything.
That's not what your quivering mass says.
And he just puts both hands up in the air and is just about to say something to you when all of a sudden you hear a blood-curdling scream from upstairs.
Moida.
Which I won't do for the sake of everybody's ears watching the stream.
You're watching along at home? Scream.
Do your own sound effects.
You're watching on a bus? Scream louder.
A bunch of the party kind of shuffles, everybody's heads whip around, but nobody runs upstairs right away. They're all just kind of looking around the place trying to figure out, is this one of Abner's jokes? Because he does sometimes like to do, little spooky, silly jokes. But then nothing else happens, and you see a couple people start walking towards the stairs.
Yeah, Maxie's one of them. She's walking with her pelvis leading, one hand in a pocket and the other still holding onto the little flask. And she just looks at the people kind of still standing around, like, oh, wusses, and starts walking up the stairs.
As you start walking up, you hear a bit of shuffling, and then again kind of some heavy breathing and another scream, a smaller one, but you hear some kind of panicked mumbling, and you can just start making out somebody go, oh no, oh God, oh no, oh God.
So there's some sort of like show or something happening in the house now as well while we're here.
You kind of look back as you say that, and everybody's kind of looking at each other and whispering and mumbling, and nobody really seems sure.
Sure, let's go have a look at it anyway. Now walk on.
You get to the top of the stairs, and what you see is this man that you were introduced to as Abner from across the room, and around him is just a pool of blood. Or sorry, let me take that back. I just read this as I was speaking. And what you see is sort of this setup, clearly meant for a little later in the evening. A big metal basin full of apples, and Abner's head is just in it. But you recognize the costume, you recognize the dirty bandages, and next to him is this slightly older woman, white hair in a maid's outfit with just these little lacy cat ears on, just panicking next to him, not quite touching him, but like almost touching him, and then pulling her hands away and just going, "Oh God, oh my God, Abner, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do?"
His head out of the water, and I go and I pull him back.
You yank him out, and his body is just heavy and lifeless.
Oh, a bit too late for that, I suppose. Well, it's worth a shot.
Can Estrella walk over and just take one of the apples out of the basin, and just with a mouth full of apples, like, well, it's pretty clear what happened around here. She did it. And she's just gonna point at the maid, just like while eating the apple, and just like spitting some of it all over Abner. Just gonna point at the maid. Well,
the maid just starts bawling and, "No, I didn't, I swear to God, I would never, oh my God."
Save them tears for prison, honey.
She's crying and panicking, and now there's a bit more commotion downstairs, and Coco, Abner's wife, starts running up the stairs, and she gets up there, and I'm assuming, Maxie, that you've dropped him. He's just on the ground.
I literally just pulled him back so he'd fall.
Yeah. She runs up the stairs and kind of looks at him, and she looks panicked, but she looks confused, and she kind of pokes him with her toe and gives him a little kick, and she's just like, "Stop it, this isn't funny." And he's just not moving, and you can see the panic kind of start to set into her now.
Look, I don't know if this was like a prank or something gone wrong, but something's gone. Sorry, lady, something's gone wrong with your man here.
Yeah, he's dead.
She looks around, and she kind of spots one of her service staff, and she points at him and she goes, "You lock the doors, lock the windows. Nobody leaves until I find out what happened to my Abner." And they do. The service staff just start locking things up, blocking windows, blocking the doors. You guys aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
I lean over to Orlean and I kind of whisper, "Have you been to one of these kind of parties before? I think I heard you mention something like that, where they lock the doors."
Rich people do silly things with their money. It might be a whodunit.
A what now?
But Marilla solved it. It is the maid.
Oh, fine, we're done. Yeah, it's that one.
I swear to God, it wasn't me.
We'll go around asking people who did what and where they were, and then, lo and behold, Bob's your uncle. It will be the maid.
And she just falls to her knees, and her little cat ears fall on the floor, and she's just sobbing.
Ooh, I'll pick them up. Suited me better anyway, honey.
Here now, Chuck. There's no need to be crying so much. Like, you got caught fair and square.
I didn't do it. And she grabs Coco's hands and just kind of pulls on her a little bit. She's like, "I swear to God, I would never do it."
Orlean's going to look around the room and go, "Miss, just calm down. We're near Galeshire. There's clerics there who can speak with dead. We can just ask them who did do it. There might be one at this party, unless we're unlucky, in which case we might have to figure it out ourselves."
Coco kind of turns back, and she hadn't even thought of this, and she shouts downstairs, Are there any clerics who can speak with the dead here?" And the crowd kind of muffles and shuffles and whispers, but no,
guy's like,
unfortunately, you are unlucky.
I'm a cleric, but a sub-chef, so... I'm also a cleric, but it's in English lit, so... It's a party full of doctors, none of them medical.
Well, who was the last to see him now before you came in here?
I don't know. I walked in here and I was double checking that the lounge was set up for like the after party and the apples and the bobbing and the piñatas and all the games, and he was just there.
Did you see anyone come out of here before you walked in?
There's so many people milling about. There was a few people back and forth up here over the night, but I didn't see faces in particular.
I'm gonna lean over to Estrella and just go, Estrella, I feel very bad. Right before he came up here, I set a mighty thirst trap. I didn't think it would make him this thirsty.
Oh, Arlene. You don't admit to murder. That's why I'm trying to pin it on the maid.
Well, I don't think I did it. I just think I'm the reason he came up here to fetch... Oh, dang it. I'm never going to get that drink, am I?
You feel responsible for his untimely demise and murder. Okay, no, I'm following you now. Maxie, that's enough. Yeah. That's enough freebies. Let Marilla, let me handle negotiations. Coco, Coco, I'm so sorry. You and Wilmer were just fine people.
He was really the best, wasn't he?
And for a low fee, me and the gals will solve his murder for you.
You can't. Is that what you do? Who are you? Is that what you guys do? Is that?
Maxie, it's time to pose behind Estrella now.
Oh yeah, hang on.
We've been known to show up whenever there's crime. Sometimes crime happens after we show up, and we're always there in the middle of it, in the middle of crime, and sometimes we solve them, and sometimes we have to escape from the law.
Allegedly.
I mean, I guess I guess I don't have much other choice. You didn't do it,
Scouts
did you?
Honor, not this time.
Ronnie wanted a drink, like.
Okay, yeah. So, are you gonna look for clues, or how do we figure it out?
You've made sure that our prime suspects, who are the people at this little soiree of yours. I mean, I'm not really sure why you had to have it in such a dilapidated home and with so much vermin and dirt and dust and cobwebs everywhere. It's actually quite embarrassing, Coco. Maybe he died of shame. We haven't ruled that out yet. Maybe he died of shame. But Coco, no. You make sure that we'll inspect the body. We need utter privacy for this very intimate investigation that we are about to conduct. So you make sure your guests downstairs don't leave, and we'll make ourselves at home.
We'll be down to question you.
Yes, we'll do that as well. We'll question you. We'll make ourselves at home. And if you could have one of the gals, and she's going to gesture at the sobbing maid, maybe bring up a plate of hors d'oeuvres or something. Just, we don't investigate so well on empty stomachs.
Right. Okay. Gather everyone together. You'll investigate and you need food. Us. Okay. We'll talk about
and
that.
Some of those whores.
What?
The hors d'oeuvres.
Yes, of course. Okay, yeah.
Orly, it's an accent thing.
Yeah.
Just a little nibble.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. And a few people had started kind of wandering up the stairs now. So she kind of gestures to this lounger in, and she goes, "This is the Tinseltown room, and you can have that, I guess. You and Abner's body can make base here, and yeah, if you want to call people up, and I'll have the servants bring up some food and drink." And anything you need, anything you need, please just help me figure out who did this.
Who is your top 3 that you think would do it, Coco? I mean, you're with the man a long time, right? Who did not like him here?
Yeah. Coco, if you had to finger somebody at this party, who would you finger?
It can't be one of us.
She looks at the maid first, like immediately just looks at her, and then looks back at yourselves, and she kind of leans down to whisper in your ear, Maxie, because you asked the question first, and she whispers about June Willoughby, and she whispers about Sam Turlington, and she whispers about a man named Gordon Thune, which you haven't met yet.
Gordon Thune. Right.
Now, just for gameplay, everyone except for that random baker that Ben made me make up is a suspect for you. So those are the 3 that she would put her finger on, or in, depending. But everyone and anyone is a suspect.
Right.
So she gives you those names and just kind of leans back, and she kind of puts her hands up to her mouth and is just like, please help.
And what she says, I hand out the last of the hip flask. Maybe you need a swig of this now after what you saw, love.
Oh, God, please. And she unscrews it and just downs whatever's left.
I like this one.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you to it, and I'll bring everyone downstairs and into the ballroom, and we'll wait for you. And she goes down the stairs and kind of spreads her arms and ushers everyone back down in. And you can hear her tell a couple of the servants to bring you up some food and drink, and give you whatever you need while you work on this. And she ushers everybody into a side room,
okay,
including the maid. She brings the maid down with her.
Miss Estrella, what's the plan? We case the joint and then leave, or are we actually trying to solve this one this time?
Maybe it's because I'm in the guise of my dead sister, but I'm feeling a little bit emotional about this one, Orlean, and well, I think we owe it to Albert to find out who did Dunham in. So I'll take a look at the body. I know how you get around stiffs.
They just excite me too much. I can't focus.
Don't we know it? Why don't you and Maxie case the room and look for clues same time? So look for valuables and look for clues. See if there's anything, that we could pocket.
Gotcha. I suppose you're looking at the body. I suppose I'll look at the basin with the apples in it to see if there's anything interesting on it.
Okay, so you want to inspect that?
Please.
Okay, so if you're looking for clues specifically, that is a meddling move.
Meddling?
Yes.
We're all meddling, but in different areas. So you're doing bucket of apples, you're doing body. I suppose I'll do the distance between the body and the door. See if there's any scuff marks or
sure.
The usual kind of he didn't drown, he stumbled in and fell. Those kind of.
Yep. So everybody give me a meddling move roll. So it's.
All right, sisters, let's meddle.
12.
Ooh.
Not even a lie.
Okay. All right.
What do we add to meddle? We had anything?
No, so you can have advantage or disadvantage on it depending on, so if you're like using something to help yourself or if you're helping each other or if I feel generous.
That's right.
But no, you don't have anything specifically.
Good. I got a 10.
I got a 3.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So Maxie, you were after sort of the area around the tub and the tub itself. Okay, you got a 12. So as you're kind of poking around, are you like putting your hand in the tub and touching around? And I don't know, is there anything like sharp in the tub that he got stabbed on? Is this not water? Are the apples poisonous? You're looking under the tub and all over the floor. And what you find, let's see what's good. I have a little list of clues I can hand out. You find, well, like this. Okay, so the table that the metal tub is on has a bit of that cobwebbing around it, which Estrella pointed out as soon as she came in because it's disgusting. And in them, as you're kind of poking about, you look at it and no, it can't be. And then you grab it and, oh yeah, it is. It's an actual human finger wound up in the fake cobweb. And as you pull that out and the cobweb kind of breaks away, you also catch what appears to be some kind of looks like an occult symbol etched into the bottom of the tub.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then, Orlean, you were looking kind of between the body and the door?
Yes. Yeah, to see if there was any kind of clues around how, was there anything disturbed, that kind of thing. Was there a struggle?
Okay. And you got a 10. Okay, perfect. So there doesn't seem to be a struggle necessarily, but what you do find is he clearly shuffled in. So there's like a plush enough carpet in here, and you can see the steps kind of stop being steps and they start just being shuffle marks. And somewhere between the door and the tub, you find a crumpled up piece of paper. And when you pick it up and kind of flatten it out, it is a steamy love letter. Like this, even this would kind of, rile you up a little bit. And you've written some steamy love letters. And it's not signed, but it's in this really kind of frilly, girly script set kind of a kilter by this really nasty language. And Estrella, you were looking at the body?
Yes, yep.
And you got a 3?
Very much did.
That's Abner. That's definitely, yeah, you pulled the bandages off his face and you have no idea what Abner looks like, but you're pretty sure that's Abner.
Oh, I think I got a pulse. Come back into the light, Wilbur. Come back into the light. And she's just slapping him.
Estrella, sometimes bodies just have some actions afterwards. They just sort of jitter about. But he's dead.
Say it ain't so, Orlean. Say it ain't so.
It ain't so.
Okay, great. Gilbert and I were best friends.
Sorry, Louise. We're role-playing really serious stuff over here.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt that. My apologies. Could I just look at his hands to see if he's missing a finger?
You can, and I will tell you he has all 11.
All 11. Okay, perfect. I just hold up the finger that I found to the rest of them. Bit suspicious. Also, there's some weird symbol in the tub as well.
Does the
kind of
finger look like manicured at all? Or like, is there any care or attention? I look at my own hands and they're immaculate.
Yeah. Right.
Or does it look like one of mine?
A gnarled root of a tree trunk or something.
Yeah.
It's all the knitting. It just gets you.
It's not dirty and calloused, but it's also not like moisturized and manicured. You know, it's somebody who doesn't necessarily take the time to take care of their hands, but they also don't work in any kind of way that kind of wears them down.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Yes, I look at my own real human.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Actor hands. Also, let me know if Brindlewood is one of those things where once you get a clue, it's like don't, you know, you'll find other stuff. Don't bother. Just like the next thing I was going to do is smell the letter. So like let me know if as a player, you know what, the game doesn't work like that. It's better to just continue exploring.
I'm happy to improv those things. So the clue that's on the adventure is a steamy letter, but I'm happy for us to go into more detail if you'd like.
Yeah, my cozy activity is bubble baths, so I'm very familiar with smells and aromas. Okay. So I'm looking for something that might give me a hint of someone's perfume.
Okay. It smells like it's a very sweet but floral smell, kind of like a honeysuckle or something. As you guys kind of share these with each other and you look around the room a bit, you kind of realize why it's called the Tinseltown room. This is the room that Abner and Coco dedicated to their life, and more specifically his time in Hollywood. And along the walls are awards and scripts in frames and scripts bound and put into bookshelves and posters from plays he's done, and the whole thing is just a giant, like overly flashy what's the word,
ostentatious kind of,
yeah, like of his own life. Like this man was clearly so full of himself, and she clearly was as well, because you can kind of see, not to be like sexist, but like the woman's touch in it. It's very well done. Things are really well put together. Like she definitely helped him put this room together, and that's the room that she has left you guys in. There are other rooms on the top floor. You've kind of seen most of what's on the bottom floor other than like the kitchen. There's other rooms you can explore. You can start calling people up. You guys can kind of do whatever you want from here.
So, just one quick thing. I now realize that we have to make Hollywood canon in the world of Romancing the Dungeon. It's just a forest full of holly trees where writers and playwrights get together. I will put that into the world somewhere.
Miss Estrella, he's won an EGOT. Herb, Galeshire, other place, Tezrat,
Rothoham. Yeah, I think Estrella, having no luck with the body, might check out the symbol that Maxie pointed out in the tub to see if she kind of recognizes it at all, or is she able to discern anything about it?
You have a look at it, and it's definitely kind of magic. It's not that you're getting magic energy off of it, but it's sort of an element of something that would lead to magic. There's definitely kind of like a dark occult vibe to it, but you don't recognize the symbol in any way. You also know that this man loved horror, so it could have been a prop.
Sure, look, the missus gave me some names. Do you want a good cop, bad cop this?
What about just... And she cracks her knuckles. Beat him up, cop.
You'll be beat him up, cop. I'll be bad cop. And Orlean can be good cop.
Oh.
She can flirt with them.
I'm going to beat him off, cop. But okay.
That's only if they're innocent, Orlean.
Well, let's hope we find some non-sinners in envelope. Sorry, I'll take that again. Not when I'm done with them.
So she said June Willoughby, Cam Turlington, and Gordon Thune.
Well, Maxie, you can rule Gordy Pie straight off. He was looking at me the whole time when I was down in that room.
Oh, who's he now?
He's gentleman caller that I have.
That doesn't rule anyone out. You've had gentlemen callers before who have ended up in the gallows.
Yes. And I thank them for their service.
That's what we call Orleans private parts.
Everyone's guilty until proven innocent, right?
Except me. I didn't do it. I didn't try to rob the bank.
Oh yeah, exception.
The one time that's not the case.
Grand. So, cool. I think. Should we talk to Gordon first? We can get him knocked off out of the way first there for you, Orlean.
Yeah. And you're well past being able to get knocked up, so.
I hope my little boy's doing okay. I dropped him outside some Temple of Brogue some 20 odd years ago. Hope he doesn't grow up to be a dork.
That would be your greatest disappointment. Oh, worse still if he enlisted in the army.
Some sort of city guard, or worse, a scout.
Are you going to call Gordon up then?
Yeah, I think so.
So he comes up the stairs, and on his way he spots you, Orlean, and you can see him just kind of pause for a second, and he straightens out his suit jacket, and he straightens his tie, and kind of brushes this very oily black hair he's brushed down out of the way, which just smudges all of his green makeup, and he's just starting to look a bit silly, and you can tell he's kind of sweating a bit. But he puts on a bit of confidence and walks up the stairs, head up high, and gets to the door and just gives you a little bit of a nod.
I lean in and whisper into his ear, "Now you and me, Gordon, we have a safe word. The gals in there, they don't. So don't lie to them."
It will fuck you up. And then whisper, and I go and I grab him by the neck and pull him into the room.
He just flails and kind of falls into the room with you, and then gently pushes your hand away and straightens everything again. Ma'am, there's no need. I am a respectable banker, and I will not be treated like this.
Oh yeah? Where was your respect when you killed this one over here now?
I have killed nobody, thank you.
Show us your hands.
He puts his hands out and just kind of waves them around.
No missing fingers.
All 10.
Wait, he had 11. Where's your 11th?
I've only ever had 10.
Who?
That's me done. Go on, you ask questions.
Yeah, Estrella kind of whips out the brass hair like her cane, and she kind of bangs it against the tub. Who are you supposed to be?
Well, I'm Frankenstein.
Oh, buddy. Oh, baby. That's your second crime this evening. The first was murdering Gilbert here. The second, you didn't even read the book.
Yeah, it's Dr. Frankenstein.
It's Dr. Frankenstein's monster! And she's just gonna smash something on the table.
He jumps, like he's trying so hard to be like cool and manly, but he is terrified. And he keeps fiddling with his jacket and with his tie and straightening things up and brushing all the green makeup off his face while he's fixing his hair. And he just goes, I will not. I am a respectable member of this community. I have murdered nobody. And you know, the weird depraved things Abner was into anyway, who knows, this was probably part of his plan. He's, you know, these Hollywood types, they're nothing like us, and I didn't do it.
First up, don't kink shame. Secondly,
he kind of looks at Orlean for a second.
You said weird, depraved, and Hollywood. What kind of stuff was our dear departed Gaynor into?
I mean, I personally don't know, but I've seen some of those shows, and the weird the werewolf girls and the biting and the blood and the you know,
Yeah, where are those good old fashioned values?
How do you know Abner and the missus?
He's one of the bank's biggest customers, so regardless of whether or not I agree with his way of life, I try to keep a good relationship.
The man might have been dirty.
Who has access to?
No, you go for it.
Who has access to his money? So is it just him and the missus, or do other people get their fingers in it?
I don't know if that's the kind of information I can share with you, Lot. Who even are you?
You can tell him about Marcus.
This.
Go ahead. You can tell him all about Marcus. Imagine, we've just had the wildest 3 minutes of your life, and you're telling me everything you normally tell me.
He is sweating profusely. He can't stop fiddling with his clothes. And
would it make you more comfortable if you were out of those clothes?
No, ma'am. No. He just like freezes and closes in on himself a little bit, and he stares dead at the ground, and he goes, Marcus, his manager, Marcus Greaves, Abner's manager, has access, and Sam Turlington, his business partner, have access to the account as well. And I don't know how they share the money or what they do or what sort of business ventures they're in, and it's none of my business. And that's it. I'll be saying no more on the matter.
They've been coming in more often than usual now to get money. Either one of them. Who would you say is the shadier one out of the two of them?
Look, I don't actually know them as people very well.
Look,
so
we're trying to solve a murder here, so give us some information. That Sam one has always been a bit shady to me. Okay, look, I'm not saying anything else. That's it. That's the last thing I'll be saying.
So Gordon, you'd finger Sam for the murder.
Yeah, he just said he would. He'd finger him, all right.
Oh God! And he's sweating, and he keeps glancing over at Arlene, and he's looking at the ground, and you can see the red through the green makeup, and this man he's panicking.
Gordon, we put you through a lot. Just one more thing. If you know who did it, could you tell us? And I'll tell you that I won't tell your missus who did you.
He bright red, and his eyes like wide open, and this time he finally looks directly at you, and he just shakes his head. I don't know if I knew I'd tell you, but I don't know. I promise I don't know. Please don't tell her. Please. Okay. I don't know if I knew I would tell you.
You're too much fun, sugar. That's not going to end anytime soon.
Oh God. And he just starts like fanning himself with his jacket. And are we done? I've told you everything I know. That's it. I don't have anything else.
Go on, sure. I don't have any questions. Marilla?
Yes. Just one question, Gordon. Just one question.
He's already backing up towards the door very slowly.
Who's guarding the bank right now?
The city guards.
And would you say there's many guards?
Like
okay,
two? There's usually two.
Max, you write that down. There's 2 guards. Write that down.
Yeah.
Okay. They should be there all night.
Are they easily distracted?
Yeah. I hope not. Okay. But I guess if somebody was trying to break in, they trade over at about 6 a.m. to the day guards, and I'm always in there early, and I always catch them having a chat instead of paying attention. So if Sam or Marcus was after the money, that's probably when they do it.
Yeah. If Sam and Marcus were trying to rob the money, you'd say that they would attempt to do it around 6 a.m. approximately.
Yeah. That would probably be the best time. Yeah, those guards are useless.
Terrible guards, absolutely useless. Thank you for that information.
Gordon, I'd better not keep you late any morning. That's no one's mind of the bank at all.
No, that would be true. Yeah, I get there and I always have to snap them back into shape, because they're just chatting. They're not paying any attention. So yeah, no, I have to be there at 6 a.m. Otherwise, the bank's entirely vulnerable.
Thank you for that vital information on how to rob your bank. I mean, figure out whether it was Sam or the other fella that did the murdering.
Marcus. Yeah.
One of them killed. this fella. Abner,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for that there, Gordon. Like that's you made yourself very useful there. You absolute bollocks.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm done.
Could you just send?
He's like reaching for the door handle.
Coco back up just for 1 second, not to integrate. We don't think she did it, but I just have one question for her.
Oh, okay. And he reaches for the door handle, but he misses a bunch of times because he's also watching.
Just a little up to the side. Just a little up to the. No, you're too high now. You're too high now.
Not choose the door there, like.
I'll just put your.
He finally gets it. He whips it open, runs out, and slams it behind him.
You're right. That was 3 minutes.
He won't be back.
Estrella, should I get on the sending stone to your missus to get down to the bank?
Yeah, get Beth. Get Beth. Get Beth. Some of the hogs ran him up.
Gotcha. I go over to a corner onto the sending stone and just like wrangle the hogs to get down to the bank and pass over all the information.
Poor stupid man. Anything you guys want to talk amongst yourself about before Coco walks in?
2 marks against Sam Turlington now.
My quick plan is, because this is a party and people RSVP, they might have RSVP'd using their hands. And their hands are what they write with. And that handwriting could be matched to this here steamy letter, which I'm going to try out later. Some of the things, they're correct. Gordon was not wrong.
You also didn't, you've got a nose for it. Would you go giving a sniff to see if anyone's got the same perfume on?
Yeah, I could go wander the halls of the party.
Right. Yeah, this Sam lad now has 2 marks against him.
Yeah, this Sam fella is the same fella that I caught shuffling through the desk. And, well, he was rummaging through some documents of a proprietary nature, or property nature, and wasn't too kindly about me snooping on him.
But Miss Estrella, that would have been at the same time we heard the scream. So I wouldn't rule out more than one person being interested in the death of. Oh, can we put this corpse here somewhere? Just looking at me.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I should just gonna put him right back into the tub.
That's better. Don't want to touch the crime scene for when the guards arrive.
As you dump Abner's head back in the tub, there's a light tapping on the door, and it opens slowly, and Coco kind of pokes her head back in.
Widow Abner.
You ladies asked to see me?
Could you wrap up all the invitation responses you have and bring them up here? Anyone who RSVP'd yes to the party.
Oh, of course. Mrs. White, the maid, I believe, has those. I can get her to collect those for you. I'll have her send them right up.
Please do. I'll lean in. I'll give her a little hug because she's obviously traumatized. And I might just prestidigitate just a little of her like husband's aftershave just by my neck. I figure it might be comforting to the smell.
She kind of pauses. So she was like hugging back. There was a bit of pressure, and as you do that, she kind of stops and just very slowly pulls away and kind of gives you a bit of a side eye, and you just hear her mumble under her breath, "Oh God, not you too." If that will be all, I'll send the maid up with the invitations.
Yeah, I'll walk out with her. I'll follow her down. Let's split the party.
Right, so she heads back down and she goes to find Mrs. White and asks her to come back up with the RSVPs. If you want to send somebody up to the other 2 girls, Orlean, you can, and you can go nosing around yourself.
I'll send up someone who isn't Sam. There was a actress by the name of Madeira.
Alina.
Yep. We both said the same thing.
Alina.
And I'll send Alina up. Is Lena
the
blonde wigged lady?
What?
No.
No, she is the vampire.
June Willoughby is the blonde.
June is the blonde. Yeah.
Oh.
So you approach Alina and you tell her the girls are waiting for her upstairs, and she doesn't really respond to you. She just kind of looks down her nose at you and brushes her hair out of her face, and in a very similar way to how you attempt to present yourself, she walks up the stairs with hips just absolutely dislocating to sway left and right, and it looks very natural for her. Like this is clearly how she acts. the majority of the time, and she heads on upstairs. And you are free downstairs to have a nose around if you'd like.
You want me to start? Sorry, I figured it might be in. Yeah, I'll nose around. I'll grab myself a drink and I'll just sort of like wander around the room doing things like, terribly sad what's happened to Mr. Abner. Widow Abner's taken it very well. Yes, I am Orlene Belgov. Yes, that is me. Nice to meet you, big old. Okay. I'll kiss a few hands. I'll shake a few hands. I'll look for anyone not into 10 fingers to see, and yeah, explore that way.
Okay.
I want a medal.
Okay, give me a meddling move roll, and let's see what you find while you're nosing around.
Only a 4.
Nosing around, kind of. Only a 4. Okay. You do kind of pick up that scent off the letter a little bit, but it's just mixed with so many other things, and you kind of realize that, you know what, most of these women seem to wear a perfume really similar to this, and there's no way that all of these women murdered him, so you're not really finding anything to lead you in that direction. And as far as missing fingers goes, so many people are wearing gloves as a part of their costume. You also can't really tell one way or another if somebody's missing a finger or if everybody has all 10.
Now here's a fun party game I have. It's called 10 Fingers. We all show each other the 10 fingers we have. And we count them down, 1, 2, 3. And you stop when you get to the amount of fingers you can fit. So I'll just...
Are you actually trying to convince them to do this? Okay. Give me a presence roll, but this is going to be a night move. So I need you to tell me what you're afraid will go wrong if you fail.
No, I definitely failed. It's only a 5.
Okay.
But what I'm afraid will go wrong. Ooh. Very good. I'm afraid will go wrong in this situation. One, well, being ignored, obviously a big fear of mine. Losing status to the other women in the room.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Okay.
Actually, uninterrupted, focused, annoying, singular attention from one man who won't leave me the fuck alone. Because they've picked up on a little bit of my vibe, and now they are trying ham hard to get, and now I'm trapped with someone. Yeah, okay. There's a couple of fears.
All right, good. It's a little bit worse than that, unfortunately. So I guess maybe better in a way, depending on how Orlene kind of takes this. But when it comes to counting fingers, what a fun game. All of the 80-year-old servants seem to be super into this game and are kind of just 2 or 3 of them sitting around you, just kind of like, I got 5 over here and 5 over here. You know what I can do with them?
Oh my God. That's so disturbing.
No sneakers. I do not know what you can. Sorry, that's me. No, honey.
I think Ben wants to know.
Why don't you show me?
One of them just kind of, one of them nudges you, trying to be coy and cute, but he's really getting his elbow in under your ribs, and he's just like, oh, if you play your cards right, little lady, I'm gonna show you what all 10 of them can do.
Okay, easy. Bill or Joe, Clinton and or Biden.
He just snorts and sniffs, and you can tell he just sniffed up a load of snot, and he kind of rubs his hand over his nose and just wiggles his fingers at you again. And we will cut to upstairs. So while poor Orlene is dealing with all of this downstairs, trying to sniff people and count fingers, you hear quite a strong knock on the door, and then it just swings open as Alina, dressed in this skin-tight black floor-length, kind of Morticia Addams style dress, Her breasts kind of very out and full, red lipstick, red jewels, hair slick and black. Walks in and she stands very tall, neck very straight, and again looks down her nose at you and just goes, yes.
As she walks in, I get a chair and put it up in front of her, waiting for Estrella to go stand on it.
Estrella tries to put one leg on it to kind of lean in, but it's obviously a little too tall for her. So now she's sitting on it kind of cross-legged and just kind of well, fancy meeting you back here.
What was I called up here for? And you can smell the alcohol coming off her breath, and whatever she was drinking is not what was being served at the party.
You don't seem too bothered now that your meal ticket there is kind of
stale.
Taking a swim.
While I loved Abner, our time together was coming to an end.
Loved. She's already in the past tense. I mean, the man's not even cold yet.
Look, our relationship was already beginning to fall apart. I was actually meant to tell him tonight that our next show would be my last.
What was the reason for that now?
Abner had an eye for, he'd like to call it talent, but I know that it was beauty, seductiveness. And incorrectly, he assumed that I was past my prime and began giving me matronly roles. And I know that I'm worth more than that.
Who was he eyeing?
Just a number of young floozies in the community. Nobody with nearly as much talent.
Nobody as big a floozy as yourself, is what you're saying there, Elena.
Call me what you will. I know that I'm talented.
A talented floozy, yes, that's totally fine.
Is there anyone at the party he had eyes on?
Well, I won't say I know it to be fact, but the rumor mill says that he and June Willoughby were, so.
She kicked you off your pedestal, so.
Oh, no, that woman cannot act, and I had no actual sexual interest in Abner. He was simply the man who paid my bills.
Who would you think now, Elena, would put this poor man swimming with fishes?
No, they were apples.
Sorry, swimming with apples. That was the other one, wasn't it?
Well, the other rumor mill, of course, which I cannot claim to be fact and I know nothing about, is that Mrs. White, the maid, and Coco, his wife, were possibly having an affair.
Which maid was that now? Is she here tonight?
Oh, she was the one who found Abner.
Oh, the old song and dance routine.
I don't know any of this to be true. I have not seen it myself. These are only rumors I've heard.
Any rumors or suspicions about his manager or business partner going around?
I didn't have much contact with them. I've my own manager. I don't need a business partner. Whatever Abner did in his personal time had nothing to do with me.
And who are you banging, Elena?
Why is that any of your business?
Just everybody at this party seems to be banging each other, and I just want to know, are you banging anyone here?
No, she said she was on the shelf, sure.
Oh.
I said no such thing. It is none of your business who I'm spending my time with.
On the shelf.
Are we done?
I don't know, Marilla, any more?
Elena, did you happen to see anybody going upstairs after Abner left?
half the party was in and out. He has a number of little fans who follow him places. Sure, I don't know any of their names, but sure there were people milling about.
Well then, I think that's...
Do you guys want to give me a meddling move roll and see if you can get some kind of information clue out of her that way?
Do we roll together, or like are we just one of us kind of giving?
One of you roll with advantage. We'll say the two of you are kind of questioning her, but one of you roll with advantage.
I'd say since you're doing the bulk of the questioning, Maxie, you go for it.
11.
Okay, very good. So as you kind of go to let her leave, before she opens the door, she pauses and she looks back over her shoulder and she goes, "What I can tell you is that I was wandering around the house myself earlier, just, for old time's sake, as I probably won't be invited anymore after leaving Abner's shows. I did hear 2 people arguing on a balcony just outside of the master bedroom. It sounded like 2 women, but I couldn't place the voices."
And you didn't happen to hear what they were arguing about by any chance?
I heard the word betray. I heard money. I couldn't really pin it down.
Estrella's kind of like gonna look through, like she there isn't like a blanket or a cardigan or that, like anything kind of heavy, comfy or cozy in the room, like a throw even.
Yeah, I'd say, what there is. There is, those throws that have pictures printed on them. Abner had one hanging up on the wall like a tapestry, and it's a poster of one of his plays. It's just covered in like a woman being torn in half, blood spitting everywhere, a big green monster holding on to her. That's hanging up on the wall.
Estrella's gonna rip it down and give it to Elena. You like, as we start to get on in age, you're probably better off, covering up. The cold doesn't do anything for your joints or anything. You'll catch your death. I mean, look at Abner; he caught his in here.
She just takes it and rolls her eyes and goes, "Is that all? Are we done?"
Yep.
Yeah, you've been really helpful. You've been really helpful there, Elena. I'll be sure to catch one of your new plays.
Fine, wonderful, thank you. I would recommend maybe checking out the master bedroom down the hall, just in case whoever was arguing left something behind. That's all I have for you, though. I didn't murder him. And with that, she just kind of walks out the door and slams it behind her.
Do you want me to go have a look? Or do you want me to keep chatting to folks?
I'll go have a snoop. And you chat, because I don't think June's going to be all that too open to dialogue, considering she might have taken some offense to what I said to her earlier on. Possibly, maybe.
Should I try roughing her up, maybe? And then she might talk. Are we allowed to do that?
Why don't you try put on a bit of the maxi charm first, and then if that doesn't work, then wail on her.
Nice. Got it. Right. Okay. If Estrella's walking out, I'm just going to see about getting June up here. So I'm not even going to be coy about sending someone down from like, "Hi, June, get up here." Out the door.
Okay, perfect. Do you guys want to take a 10-minute break here before we jump into the next little couple of scenes?
Yep.
Or
yeah,
cool.
Yep, we can do that if you want.
Cool. Okay, back in 10.
And we'll be back with more murder mystery.
Ooh, who doing it?
It was Arlene. She did everybody at the party.
Yeah. You walk towards the master bedroom, and that old servant walks out, and Orlean's in there. Oh, Miss Estrella.
And on that note, we're going out to break.
Welcome back. We still can't count.
543 is the number in which sequences of numbers go.
543. We're back.
And we're back.
You're supposed to silently count in your head. Oh, amateurs.
Welcome back to our not math, but luckily cozy murder mystery.
Just as terrifying.
Less terrifying than math. Apparently. So we left off with Marilla, in the Tinseltown room, which is full of all of Abner's own memorabilia. She left to explore. I apologize. Yes, we left Maxie in there, to continue interrogating, having just shouted down the stairs for June to come up. And Estrella Marilla is on her way to the master bedroom, where the ladies had just found out there was quite possibly some shifty shenanigans. And we had left Orlean downstairs. What is she doing next herself? She's surrounded by a few grimy old men who are very interested.
Yeah, I think the 10-fingered old
somehow something as normal as having 10 fingers is so upsetting now.
It's just that sentence didn't get finished fast enough.
But as Estrella walks towards the master bedroom, she will see that man walking out of the master bedroom and meet Orlean inside. And just say, "Oh, it's Estrella. I'm also here looking for clues."
Was that his name? Was his name Cluedo?
Yeah, how did you know? I just called him Honey, but...
I knew by the gait of his walk that there was more than 10 fingers involved.
It was a limp. The gait of his walk was a limp. Yeah. Like one leg just kind of dragged behind him.
So... I assume...
There's a cozy move in the book where if we use our stuff, so I might just take out a flask, a little decanter of some fine scotch and pour a glass for myself and Estrella. Just be like, quite a night we're having. One death.
Yeah, seeing Orlean kind of like in the room and having seen Estrella does not want to touch anything with her bare hands, so she's just going to take out her crochet hooks and like even with the glass, she's going to like. And again, not bring the glass to her lips. It's just trying to tip the.
Just kind of pour it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a wonderful friendship you two have.
Orlean will, with the covers around her, just sort of puddle down, puddle back, and she'll be back in her biker gear. She's no longer. She still has the whiskers and she still has the ears, but she's very deftly gotten dressed underneath the covers. It's not her first time.
Won't be the last.
No, it won't.
I feel.
Okay, so you didn't happen to see anything useful when you were on your back?
Well, nothing on the roof.
Good checking that out. That's some fantastic detective work that you were laying there.
And nothing at the end of the bed.
Okay.
Or behind the headboard.
Okay. And it's a solid
head. Over on that wall over there.
Okay. Thank you for pointing out all the areas that I will not be going to or touching. Okay. Anything under the bed?
Well, while I was on my knees, I did find something very interesting.
It wasn't one of the gods, was it? Because...
No, I'm still looking for him. But I wasn't a shaft. So it's apparently, if it's my cozy activity, which is just drinking a nice scotch or whiskey after having some fun, I can stumble on a clue relevant to an active mystery. But I don't know what I mean. I think according to the book, I tell you what the clue is, but I don't know what the clue is.
Okay. Do you want to see how many do I have here? No, actually, I think you can literally just make up a clue that suits the mystery, or I guess what you have in your head as, like what suits the mystery. Because the fun of this game is there isn't actually an answer to the whodunit. That depends on what you guys decide it is and whether or not you roll successfully.
Very Very interesting. It's a joint thing as well, so it's like as we're having an intimate moment with another maven. I think we'd call this moment quite intimate.
It's pretty intimate. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Not in the way, not in the way the writers of this intended.
Well,
if we want to make a clue together, Declan.
Sure.
Where my head's at is Abner has fallen out of love with someone and they're using some sort of love potion to try to get him back, or never love someone, they're trying to love potion him back through fingering him. It seems sacrifice a finger and Abner his attention will be drawn to you. That's kind of where my head's at with what's going on.
So I think so. I think like if this is, let's say, kind of out of character, but Strella and Orlene chatting, kind of like theorizing over scotch at a distance of about 8 feet, because that's how far your sneeze can fly. And she's staying within that range, or just outside that range. Like Estrella's kind of like nodding along. I thought of that as well. I thought that might be a thing, but Mrs. Abner, the widow Coco, was
Widow Ab.
Yeah.
Bless her little soul.
Yeah, she was very quick to finger 3 people. Point the old. No, not like finger, like not like Orleans special. She pointed the blame at the business partner. She mentioned
Marcus.
She mentioned the manager. Yeah, she mentioned the manager.
Or Sam, June, and Gordy Pie.
Yes. So, and you don't think it was your Gordy Pie?
I don't think my Gordy Pie, sweet little Durham that he is, would have the nerve.
Well, see, we heard.
Fucking dork.
Whatever you two do in your private time is your own business, Orlean. We found out, we uncovered in a rather excellent interrogation by Maxie, without the use of her fisticuffs, that, well, there's a rumor going around that the maid, the one that we found that found Abner's body, is, well, she's finding more than Abner's body. She's finding Coco's body, but less murdered. So
just like a little murder, or like a tiny little death.
Some say a petite death.
Mrs. Strella, I did not know you spoke Visagian.
A petit pois.
Well, maybe it wasn't Abner was intended for after all.
Now, we also learned, and then she's gonna just point one of the crochet hooks dramatically at the balcony, and then, like, almost like a divining rod, move towards them. That there was an argument just before the party really kicked off, just before he kicked the bucket, really, that there was an argument out here. So, and she's going to try and step out onto the balcony to see if she can look for that, I guess, that clue, whether it's the love potion or tying the maid or Coco to the murder. She's going to look for something out on the balcony.
Okay, so the cozy move lets you just create a clue between you.
Oh.
So yeah, you create your own clue, and then when you go to theorize, you can tie that in. So if whatever Orlean found while she was in there a minute ago, you can decide what that is, and then if you want to actually look for a clue on the balcony as well, you can do both.
Okay.
So since you're talking like love potion, I don't know if we want to find a potion or maybe like a small diary with like some scribblings of like ingredients and recipes for a potion in it, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was hidden just under the bed while you were in there earlier on your own. Well, not on your own, but...
No, I was just keeping myself busy. Maybe like a little box of apothecary ingredients. So like things that would be like seemingly by themselves normal, but collectively quite a cult.
Yep. Okay, so you found that while you were in there earlier, and you can share that with Estrella. And then she shares with you that she heard about the argument. So Estrella, you want to go out onto the balcony yourself and do a little meddling move there to see if you can find something else.
Can I use my Maven move?
Mm-hmm. What's yours one?
So I went with Cagney and Lacey, or Estrella and Beth. Maven move, which allows me to draw on my my relationship with somebody, a partner that does just kind of come on scene to help. So I think it's that thing of maybe that like Beth isn't really a party gal, like it's not really her thing. So she's down with the hogs, and I think Beth is, or Estrella just gonna shout down at her, Beth!
What?
Okay, good, you can hear
me.
Are
you done?
No. Babe. There's a dead body in here.
What? We're already on the run. What did you do?
No, I didn't do this one. But we're getting paid. We're getting paid to figure out who did do it.
Paid?
Yeah, paid.
Big bucks?
Well, little bucks. But I did get other intel on a bank that we will just visit at 6 a.m. right after this.
All right, okay, what do you need?
Okay, so apparently there might have been an argument out here involving two people that may or may not be tied to the murder. So can you have, like, the hogs check underneath the balcony for any kind of clues or anything? And, you know, you're so wise and lovely and beautiful and gargantuan.
I know, babe. Not now.
So maybe you can see something from down there that I can't see from up here. So you help me look.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And she kind of puts her fingers in her mouth and does a shrill whistle, and you can hear the hogs snort and snuffle and kind of run their way over to her. And she snaps her fingers and just points down into the mud, and she goes, "Go on, search it." And they all just start noses in the mud, hooves digging around a bit, and you watch. She does just kind of stand back, one hand on her hip, her leg sticking out a little bit, and she's just watching them dig around. And after a second, you see her kind of shoo him away, and she bends over and she picks up some very muddy cloth, and she kind of shakes it out, and she's looking at it, and she's like, "What the fuck is this?" And she kind of snaps the cloth out, and you can see that it's a dress very similar to the one Elena was wearing, but thrown into the mud. So it's like a black Elvira Morticia style vampire dress, but it was buried in the mud out here.
Hey, babe, can you throw that up?
So luckily it's muddy, so it's like wet and heavy, and she kind of balls it up and ties it up into a knot, and she just absolutely chucks it up at you, and it comes straight up and over the balcony, and with a splat hits the ground in front of you.
Okay. Yeah, I think Estrella's gonna just kind of blow a kiss down at Beth. You, me, crack of dawn, cracking safes.
She kind of catches the kiss as it comes down and shoots your little finger gun, and then whistles the hogs back up to the front of the house to wait for you.
And yeah, Estrella's gonna return into the room carrying the muddy dress. Well, look what I stumbled on. Well, Beth and the hogs stumbled on and threw up the balcony at me, but I asked them to.
Hey, Miss Beth, I'm up here too. It's me, Orly Belgap.
She's gone.
Oh, bye, Miss Beth. I'll meet her one day. Why, Miss Estrella, that looks like a dress that other woman was wearing. And if I know women, because I am one, I'd be annoyed if someone was wearing the same dress as me to a party.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, Orlean. And you were wearing a lovely costume earlier on that nobody else was wearing or had the guts to wear. Such a tight outfit at your age. Kudos. One way of looking at it, somebody was upset and changed outfits. Another way of looking at it, and she's going to point up at your cat ears, maybe it was a maid and she was ordered to take it off. Can't have the maid walking around dressed up like one of the guests. She was just wearing stupid cat ears.
He was just wearing stupid cat ears.
Like the ones you're still wearing.
Well, I make these look good.
Yes, you do. You do. But they're also evidence, so maybe you shouldn't wear the evidence.
Oh, well, I'll just keep them on my head for safekeeping.
Good point.
And with that, we will cut back to Maxie, who had just shouted down the stairs for June to come up. Do you wait for her at the door, or do you kind of go back in and wait for her?
I wait for her at the door, kind of impatiently, watching her walk up the stairs. Come on, we don't have all night, like, come on.
You can see as she's walking up, she's really gripping to the banister and kind of pulling herself along, and she's wiping tears and she's sniffing, and she keeps like folding her arms in on herself. She's so very clearly visibly upset, and she comes up to you and she goes, I know, I'm sorry, do you know who did this? Poor sweet Abner.
So what we're trying to work out now, we're trying to talk to trusted sources and that might have a bit more known. So do you want to come in and we can chat?
Of course, that's anything I can do to help.
Yeah.
She comes on in with you. She sees the chair in the middle of the room that was left there from Estrella, and she just sits right down.
You go and make yourself comfy there anyway now. So, what was your relationship to this man?
The relationship is such a strong word. He's a pillar of the community, and I just really admired him. We talked at a few functions. I've seen all of his shows.
You'd say you're a bit of a fangirl, so in a way.
It's a bit silly, but yeah, I'm a big fan of his work.
What do you think of his missus now?
We don't speak ill of people we don't like, do we?
Yes, we
Keep
do.
It to ourselves.
Yes, we do. No, go on, tell us. We need to know the truth now.
She's just a crass old woman. He's such a creative, intelligent man, and she just really stifled him. I just really think she stifled him and really crushed his creative energy. And he could have done so much more. And sorry, I've gotten away with myself.
You're all right. You think that she held him back now?
She did. She absolutely did. Yes, her and her little group of friends telling him, oh, it shouldn't be this way, it should be that, it shouldn't be so bloody, it shouldn't be aliens, it should be werewolves. Just let the man work.
Do you think that's what it was, or do you think she was the one, like, I know you're a big fangirl or whatever and you liked his material, so obviously her input worked, so in a way you kind of liked her material as well.
I don't know her well enough to speak about her.
All right, no worries. Okay. Do you know of her maid, Miss White? Does she hang around quite a bit with the lady of the house?
I'm only really in the house for these events, these parties, a couple of times a year. I haven't seen much of her. I wouldn't really be able to say.
That's fair enough. And I know you don't have a nice taste in your mouth for the missus, but is there anyone else now who would, you'd be a bit suspicious of?
Oh God, my poor sweet Abner. I don't know. That business partner of his always seems a little bit shady, but I don't know him very well either. I know Abner was telling me that they were looking into some business deals, and that's what you see in all the plays and read in all the books, isn't it? It's always the business partner gone wrong to make some money. Oh God, I don't know. I don't have much experience myself.
Men and money, not the best mix, I tell you. Bit stupid with it, so they are.
Oh yes. Oh, poor sweet Abner.
Well, this has been useless. Could you mind? I know, like, you've kind of wasted me time here. Would you send the maid up to me, please? on your way out. And make it snappy now. I don't have a lot of time here.
No, all right, okay. And she just kind of straightens her dress and stands up, and she looks very confused and very offended. She thought she was a great witness. She was doing everything right. It's like every play she's ever seen. And she just kind of shuffles out of the room very confused. And only a minute later, Mrs. White comes in, and she's very sheepish and kind of, folded in on herself a bit. And she's just, I've told you I didn't do it.
But you did do Coco.
Her jaw dropped and her eyes like spring open, and she really wraps her arms around herself, and she's like, Who told you?
Why were you arguing there on the balcony earlier today?
That wasn't me.
Oh, what other woman was she arguing with, so? Does she someone else beside yourself?
How? I will not be treated this way in my own home. How dare you?
Your own home now.
It might as well be. I've been with the Vitals for 20 years, and I demand more respect than this.
And how long have you been entangled with Coco?
I don't see how this is any of your business.
It's relevant to maybe why her husband has been killed. So if you want to save your neck from the guillotine, you'll come out honest here to me now.
Do it. I didn't kill Abner, okay? I don't know what else you want. I clean their house, and I serve the missus in whatever way she needs, and that's it.
Oh, you serve her all right, yeah.
That is enough.
How long has it been going on?
I don't see why it matters when Abner has his own side pieces anyway.
It matters because Abner is dead, and you're still standing here, and there was 2 women heard arguing on the balcony, which certainly points me in your and the missus of the house's direction.
Well, why would I kill Abner if I was fighting with Coco? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was the missus and you're covering up for her.
But that doesn't make any sense either. Why?
Because you love her.
Look, I don't know who was arguing. I wasn't there for that. I was preparing for the party.
Okay. Well, answer my earlier question. How long have you and the missus been knocking boots?
Only the last 10 years.
Only.
Only 50% of the time that you've been working here.
And only a quarter of their marriage.
And did you ever talk about getting out of here and away from it all so you could be together and happy?
I tried to convince her, but she wouldn't go. She didn't believe we could make a living on our own. Sure, I'm just a maid, and she doesn't have any notable talents herself.
And was this something you argued about a lot?
It's not an argument, it was a discussion. And no, I haven't even tried to convince her for the past year. It's a waste.
More of a disagreement, so we can agree on that then. Right, okay. Can I see your hands, please?
Got her.
She holds she holds them up. No, she has all 10.
Nothing else for you now to ask you. But I mean,
if you want to give me one more meddling roll, let's see if we can jog her memory on anything.
Okay. 6.
Yeah, no, you say that you don't have anything else, and she just says, good, perfect, great. And she straightens her clothes and just turns and walks out the door. And on her way out the door, Orlean and Marilla walk back in to join you. So if you guys are ready, we can move into theorize.
Okay.
So that is the final move, in which essentially what happens is you guys put together your clues. So I'll run back through them here for you. You have a human finger. You have a steamy letter. You know that 2 suspects were arguing on the balcony. You have a box of apothecary ingredients. And you have a muddy duplicate costume. So you guys take as long as you want, in whichever way you want, discuss what those are, discuss what you know, discuss who you think did it, where, why, in that kind of clue way. And then you will roll to see if you are correct. If you succeed, then that's it, you are correct. If you fail, then you get to kind of back to the drawing board and discuss it again.
So I don't think it was the maid. Purely because she said that her and the missus haven't been arguing the last year. So it probably wasn't the two of them arguing on the balcony. What did you find?
Yeah, I think Estrella's going to show the dress. I was thinking it was the maid. Only because we pointed at her at the very start, and that was like this really easy.
Estrella has a one-track mind. She's like, it's the maid. That's it. We're done.
It's always the help.
And if we're wrong, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
Everyone to me keeps bringing up the business partner being sketchy, but I think he's just a sketchy lad anyway, as it is. I think that's just the vibes he gives off. No, could be true.
He's also incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, he was literally searching the desk in full view of everybody.
It does sound like a bit of a take plank, all right.
Now, sisters, you know the way we like to take advantage of a good situation. Could it be possible, I don't know, maybe little Sam down there and June or the other one that begins with E, Esmeralda or whatever her name was. I know, she's a slut anyway. So overheard the arguing, talked to each other. She's trying to get out of the game. He's trying to make a quick buck. This whole property thing's something different, but they just know there's a chance to get a little bit of the estate before Abner kicks the bucket.
Hang on a second. Didn't one of you mention that Coco was kind of the muse behind a lot of Abner's work? Like she was kind of pumping him with full of ideas.
Seemed to be from talking to June, all right. June said that, you know, Coco was suppressing Abner, but it seems that she was giving Abner all his best ideas.
So maybe it wasn't Coco and Miss White that was arguing out on the balcony. Maybe it was Coco and June arguing. You get the sense that June wasn't wearing much of a costume. Like this, and she's gonna like dramatically reveal the vampire costume.
Mud splatters against a wall.
So you think she came dressed as your matching your one?
Maybe the plan was to set up Esmeralda Elena.
Maybe.
As a possible duplicate. And then maybe Coco got, lost her nerve a little bit.
But why wouldn't she set up Coco, though, when Coco's the one she doesn't like?
But Coco's the one that's writing the ideas. Miss June Willoughby has fixed herself up some sort of actress type. Maybe she thinks Coco will lend her the parts without all the hands, 10 fingers, Orleans-style auditions.
She was a bit boring, that June one. I don't see how she'd get a role any other way.
So Coco keeps her money, June gets her star, and they both get rid of Abner.
Coco was happy then to move on with Miss White.
Hence they're not arguing.
Mm.
And we did find, and she's gonna point at the apothecary box under the bed. Well, that Orleans holding.
Do you think June was using those on Abner? Because she was so mad about him.
I think these mightn't necessarily be directly related to this murder. I feel like I just made them up. But
no.
What if they tried one thing? What if they tried to get Abner to fall in love with Elena, but it didn't work? So they got desperate. And he drank a potion that made him all woozy, stumbled into this room, fell headfirst into a bobbin apple bucket, drowned himself.
And Estrella's having another one of the apples.
So who then's to blame?
Coco and June. They were in it together.
Okay. I can see.
But Sam's trying to make a quick buck off this, and I have to respect it.
He's not the...
Marcus is fucked.
Yeah. Sam's not the best at shady dealings now, so he's not. I think he'd be strung up soon enough if he's not careful. Certainly wouldn't be hog material anyway. I think you're hitting the right target there. I think it might be Coco and June.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
Coco and June work together, even though they hate each other, to kill Abner to get money and fame.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody, it's up to you guys, needs to roll 2 die.
Okay. When do you want to do it?
And based on that, we find out whether or not that's correct.
Go on, Estrella.
Oh, but I've rolled bad the last 2 times.
Well, this one must be good then, right?
Okay. No, it's a 3 again.
Oh! So, as you're having this discussion, and you kind of start agreeing with each other, that's definitely it. That's it. Coco kicks the door wide open, and she's like, I'm sorry, I was listening, but it's my husband, and I'm very upset, and I would never work with that awful, terrible woman that was sleeping with him. I cannot stand her. I would never do such a thing. Absolutely not.
Were you arguing on the balcony earlier with someone?
I was arguing with June, but I was telling her to get out of my party, to leave. I did not want her here. I know that her and Abner have been sleeping together, and you know what? That's fine. He's always had somebody, but I don't need her at my parties.
Kind of a bit unfair considering you live with your fling.
And Abner knew about that as well. We had an agreement.
Berlin takes out a notepad. Abner was sleeping with June.
Did you never express any interest in wanting to become a leading lady for Abner's plays?
No, and she couldn't if she wanted to. She had no talent.
So she was trying to waltz into his pocketbook.
That's what I always believed. She claims she was in love, but I saw no sign of that anyway.
You mentioned earlier as well that you were a bit suspicious of Sam. Why were you suspicious of him?
He was just always bringing new, stupid ideas to the table. He was Abner's business partner, but Abner's business was entertainment. Now Sam had him wrapped up in some kind of property scheme and house flipping, and he was just always trying something new. If anybody was after his money, it was always Sam.
I wonder if he ever met Ezra Gardner III and Ezra.
You know, I think he mentioned him once, yeah.
Okay.
Surely you ladies have some other ideas.
Oh, we have plenty of ideas.
You're all very suspicious.
I don't think it was Lil Sam, because if Lil Sam is trying to get Abner to invest in ideas, he needs Abner alive. The dead don't invest. But
maybe I just don't like him.
Someone who doesn't need Abner to be alive is maybe his manager, Marcus. Don't know what he gains from it.
Well, no, in fairness, honest, either of them could, depending on what Abner signed, could still be benefiting after he's gone anyway.
Sort of business insurance for the potential earnings from their ideas.
Has anyone else...
Done through the bank.
Does anyone else have access to your funds, or is it you and Abner? Is there any way, are they signed in on sharing of your wealth in any way?
I think Abner gave them, both Sam and Marcus, access, but Abner just kind of left me with money to spend myself. I wasn't really involved in the banking itself so much, so I'm not sure what agreements they had.
I have way too many more questions now.
I will leave you to it, but I will tell you that it was not myself. Maybe June did it herself, I don't know, but it wasn't me. If you could please come up with something anyway. The guests are getting restless, and I'm afraid they're going to start fighting down there if I don't let them out soon.
Oh, really? Can I join?
Please. And she just kind of leaves and shuts the door behind her again.
I was going to tell her about our 50% discount solving 2 murders in one place.
Okay, so if it wasn't Coco, we can scratch her out. And Estrella's going to use the copper rabbit and just make a big X in the wall. There's nothing there. She's just going to X her out.
So it's not the maid. It's not Coco. June? Probably not. Why would you want to kill her hero? These 2 men.
They certainly have their hands in the right pockets anyway.
And we have not investigated the guy who walked us in. The only person we know didn't do it was the baker. But we did meet one guy who let us in.
Okay, I forgot about him. He's also not a suspect.
He's actually allergic to murder.
Well, Lamarcus, I met him earlier. He seemed nice. He gave me some whiskey. But sure, anyone who gives me whiskey is nice in my eyes anyway, though.
Marcus wasn't wearing a costume. And maybe, and it just holds it up, it's like, and then it just doubles in size. Like, maybe this is a man's
sexy vampire lady costume.
Going back to Elena, though. She was saying she was going to say tonight that she was moving on. And your man was always giving her the matron roles. But what if she was getting annoyed that she was always getting the matron roles from him? And a lady of that stature would certainly always have a spare costume in at hand just in case one got messed up.
I also remember talking to Abner. He didn't have a very deep voice. If you didn't see the person, it might seem like a woman arguing on the balcony. But he was a lot of anytime I was around him.
Well, he didn't die in the balcony.
But he could have been arguing with that lady.
Coco, his wife.
Elena.
Could have been arguing with Elena about the role, tore the dress off her in a fit of rage, throw it out the balcony. He gets dressed into a spare costume, as you're right, she's a consummate professional. Then she kills him. It's the only way out.
Almost. A little bit. I think maybe she did kill it and then change the dress. Maybe the dress got wet or something. Or who knows.
Are there? Can we investigate the dress? Like, are there any stains, or like, does it look like it's been damaged in any shape or form?
Good question. I'll have you roll something for that. Let's see. Let's do a reason roll.
Oh, goody. That I've got +2 in.
Oh, very good.
And that's a 9.
Okay. So there's a bit of a tear up the side. But you can't quite tell whether it's torn or if that's a slit that was in the dress that's just gotten frayed and kind of ripped from being down in the bushes and the mud and the dirt.
Okay.
Other than that, it's wet, it's muddy. You could kind of argue it either way.
Okay.
You do know that the dress she is wearing is skin tight. It doesn't have any kind of slit up the side, but this isn't quite a carbon copy dress.
Okay.
It's just very similar.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I think it might be her, though.
I think so too, but I have one more idea. We go downstairs and we say there's been a big misunderstanding. He's actually alive. And we look for the most disappointed person in the room.
That's a brilliant idea. I didn't know you had those.
If we get this wrong, maybe we do that.
Yeah.
So we're now thinking that it's Elena killed him because he kept casting her as old lady roles. But didn't she say she was going to quit tonight anyway? Why would she kill him?
What if she had an ironclad contract that said she could not leave?
And what if she was just saying that to us now to throw us off her scent? I mean, to be fair, I don't know much about the acting or anything like that, but if she's getting matronly roles here off of someone who she's had a good working relationship with, she's probably not going to get any better with anyone else.
Who does she think she is? Helen Mirren in the latest Only Murders?
That's where my brain's going.
See, I keep coming back to the argument on the balcony, and
Mrs. Joel, if you say the maid one more time,
I think it's the maid. It's the maid, you bollocks.
So, well, you could work it that way. You could say that the maid dressed up as Elena to try and pin it on Elena that she'd killed him because she knows how much Elena doesn't like getting those matronly roles. And that would be a caveat enough for us to be pointing the direction at Elena.
And she has reason. Herself and Coco, they haven't been arguing, but that just means things are getting stale, and we know maids don't like stale things. So
yeah,
so maybe Miss White took it upon herself to do Abner in. She would have access. She found him. She had access to him. She had access to all the props, his food. That would explain the herbs.
It wouldn't look out of her going into their bedroom either as the maid. It's the maid.
I told it from the start.
Okay.
Yeah, have we agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ben's like, no, but fucking whatever, I guess.
I think we can discount a lot of things we found today. The finger might have been a prop. The bucket might have been a prop. This body could be a prop.
Abner just walks out. It was me all along.
Another successful Halloween, my friends.
I don't know Abner's boring whodunit murder mysteries. He did it himself.
Okay, somebody else want to give me a theory roll?
Go for it.
Maxie?
Me? 8.
8? Okay. So that's the theory you guys have come up with. It feels pretty solid. And the party's downstairs and Coco's downstairs and everybody's waiting to find out who did it. So if you want to bring that down to them, you can do so. Coco has actually gone back downstairs. So when you open the door, it's just a stairway down and you can kind of hear a bunch of murmuring in a room just off the side from where the stairs end.
I can't believe he came back to life.
Everyone just kind of turns around. They're like, what the fuck? What?
It was all of them. They're all just...
We all hate Abner. God, he was such an asshole.
Yeah, Estrella's gonna slow, like really dramatically, like on the brass hair, like her walking stick, just like limp in, like kind of on Maxie's arm, like just kind of like slowly, dramatically side eyeing Orlean, like we figured out who did it. And she's just gonna just hovel in.
Coco turns around and just goes, "What? Well, what do you think happened?"
Well, I'm glad all of you have assembled here in this room. But I'm afraid, amidst our company, there's a murderer.
Yes, we know. But who is it?
I know, but if you could just gasp, that would be really...
Okay, next.
Okay. Not just a murderer of English literature. And her eyes drifts over to Gordon. No. Not even a murderer of good taste. And her eyes drift over to June. No. I'm afraid one of us is a murderer of bodies. And we reckon that murderer is you.
Mrs. Jack, money first.
Oh, yeah. That murderer is one of you. And for the low fee of 50 gold pieces, we will reveal the murderer.
Oh my god, all right. And Coco just pulls a little satchel off her side, pulls out. She doesn't even count it, she just hands it to you. You can guess it's well over.
We meant each of you pay us all 50 gold.
Tell me who killed my husband, or you don't get anything at all. And she's just holding, it's clearly got way more money than you asked for in it.
Can I try strong arm it off her?
Give me a vitality roll, but this is a night move, so you have to tell me what you're afraid will go wrong if you fail.
I guess, I'm not afraid the bag will burst open.
If you lose the money, I swear.
9.
9, okay. So you don't quite fail, but you don't quite get what you want. As you're fighting for the bag off of her, as you guys are kind of pulling it back and forth, there is a small tear that comes open in the side, and a good chunk of what was in there, I'd say probably about 50 gold, falls out, and as it kind of rolls across the floor, it falls down into a grate in the floor. And you catch it, you grab the bag, and you scoop it up, and you cover the bottom, and you manage to take the rest of it, but that 50 gold is lost.
That's your cut, Maxie.
Come on!
Who
we got what came for, so should we just... we just get out of?
Coco looks at a couple of the servers, and they stand, like, strong in front of the doors.
Oh, now it's a party.
Tell me who killed my husband.
Oh, yeah. It was the maid.
The crowd dramatically kind of steps back in parts, and as they do, Miss White is just kind of left in the middle, and she looks at you, and she looks as though she's about to argue again, and then she just kind of sighs and throws her arms down and rolls her eyes, and it's just like, fuck it. And she turns around and pulls on a sconce on the wall, and a secret door behind her opens, and she just starts running down a corridor away from you.
Can you only do your Maven move once?
Once per game, yeah.
Okay, well, I want to use mine.
Okay.
Right, so I basically, once per session, you can take a 12 plus on any roll related to a wild or daring physical feat.
Oh, very good. Okay.
So I want to... I drop the bag down by Estrella's feet.
Pick it up.
Because I know she will take very good care of that. And I want to basically run and sweep the maid's legs. So, like, dive to sweep.
Perfect. So you run down this hall after her, and she's got a bit more speed than you expected, so she's got a bit of a lead on you. But you catch up pretty easy, and you just stop and slide, and both your feet come up under her feet. And she's wearing kind of these small heels anyway, so she doesn't have as good of a grip as you do in your boots. And you just knock her on her ass. And when you do, so with a 12 plus, you get sort of these hints at like occult things happening. When you do, you kind of pause for a second to stand there proud of yourself, and you kind of look around, and you're in this dimly lit room with just what appears to be, you can't think of any better word for it than a stone altar in the middle. And on the altar is what is clearly been there a few days, but it's a severed hand missing a finger. But you have knocked Miss White down, and she is just sort of sitting there kind of squirming around a little bit. Her back is like she's pulled something. She's fucked.
People were into some weird kinky shit. Maybe Arlene might know what's going on down here. But anyway, I grab her by the back of the neck and I bring her back up towards the party.
And as you do, the servers at the door kind of step aside, and finally the door kind of busts open, and in comes the local sheriff, Sheriff Drimple, and he's just like, "What's going on in here? I heard there was a murder that needs solved."
Solved. Done. That one. She did it.
And he kind of looks at Coco, and he looks around the room, and everyone's just like, "Yeah, yep, that was it. Yep, she did it." He's like,
"The trick is, she was the only one who sounded like a character from Clue."
He kind of nods, and his big mustache and beard kind of flop around with him. He's like, "All right, right, all right, yeah, no, I'll take it from here, ladies. Thank you."
Don't look too close. Like, enough to remember our faces.
No problem, buddy. No problem. So we'll just be on our way. What a lovely, charming town you have. You stay here, Sheriff, and gather up some clues. And, you know, the body's upstairs, still in the tub. Might want to take it out. They bloat.
Right. Okay. Thank you, ladies. And he kind of looks at Coco again. He's very confused. And she's just like, "It's okay. It's handled. It's handled." And he just kind of shrugs and he goes, "Right, you're all free to go."
Excellent. That's my
and people
sentence
start
committed.
milling out. People start kind of milling out of the party. There's a lot of whisper. There's a lot of talk. People gossiping about what happened. And you're free to go.
To the bank.
Coco is talking with the... Coco is kind of talking with the sheriff, cluing him in. The servers bring you kind of a final glass each of some nice sherry, because you did solve a murder, so
Okay.
it's the least they could do. You're off to rob a bank, so are you?
Wait a second.
Oh no, that should have already been started by now, shouldn't it?
We never got our whores.
Well, waiter walks up with a plate.
Ah, great. The whores have arrived. And Estrella's just going to tip a load of it into her bag. And the tray.
He just kind of looks at you and he's like, whatever, and walks away. Coco kind of gives you a wave and she's like, you can go now. Thank you.
All right, don't forget to clean out your sex dungeon. A bit dirty down there now.
The bed.
I might just burn the house, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Thank you, I think. Please don't come back to any future parties.
Okay. See you next year, Arlene. I mean...
Hopefully.
or just moving it upstairs.
I live here now. They don't want it, and I do. Yes, I forgot to say this was my last ride with the Hogs.
No, it wasn't, you big fucking slut.
Yeah, and I whistle for my hog.
With all said and done, your hogs sort of run up to the door to greet you, and Beth is there on her own. The rest of the girls are in the background waiting for you. And a couple of them kind of go, "Oh, you got the cash? You got..." And, you know, Estrella, you hold up your big bag of money, and a couple gold fall out, and you remember that Maxie fucked it. So you're like, "Oh, God," stuff it back in your bag. And we watch as everybody mount their hogs again and ride off into town to plan a bank heist, or to take a bank heist through. I guess you don't need to plan it. You know what you're doing.
We've already planned it.
The plan was made for you.
Yeah.
It was handed right over to you. And with that, the wonderful ladies of the Wild Hogs have done another good deed for their local rich people. And are now going to rob a bank.
Hollywood, one for you, one for them.
And scene.
Oh, yay! Thanks,
That
Amber.
I
you so
really
much.
like that.
Thanks, Amber.
It's a cute little game. I
love it.
really love it. If anyone watching hasn't looked into it, you should.
Just Brindlewood Bay.
Brindlewood Bay, yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry. The official game came out on Kickstarter early this year, but I think they're still selling the physical books, and it's all on Drive-Thru RPG anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kula Bula.
Yeah. So that's us. One final round of goodbyes. Goodbyes? That's very intense. One final round of hellos and goodbyes. So if you were watching, thank you. That is our Halloween stream. Once again, yes, Brindlewood Bay. That was the Halloween mystery called All Hallows Scream, but don't take that as what Brindlewood Bay is. Because it's just a sweet little murder cozy game, and while that's what it was also so much raunchier than I expected somehow. Which you can do if you like. The game does allow for it, so I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. And yeah, thanks for joining. I am once again Amber. You can find me on Romancing the Dungeon and occasional streams and podcasts. And these were my incredible players.
Thanks.
We're saying goodbye.
Saying goodbye. Yeah, say goodbye.
I am and still are. I'll probably never get to play that character again.
I demand she return.
I demand it. Yes.
But yes, you can usually hear me playing someone far more wholesome. So for Halloween specifically, I stepped out of type on Romancing the Dungeon. And there'll be new episodes every second Friday. So if you're already following D8, you probably know where to get that. There's probably other new D8 news coming, which I'll hand over to Declan for towards the end. But thanks for watching. It's been enough. Thank you for running it, Amber. Thank you for putting up with all that nonsense.
No, it was great.
It's been a blast. And happy Halloween, everyone. The spookiest thing is sex, I guess.
Sex and math.
Yeah, I'm Louise. I play Fia in Romancing the Dungeon, and as Ben said, we have a new episode out tomorrow week. So we had one that just released last Friday, so our next one's out tomorrow week. And we're all getting together tomorrow week again to finish off the recording of season 2, which I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. I know we're coming back for another season afterwards, but I'm like, no, let's just keep going.
I mean, we'll probably record like a month after we meet next week. Like, we're going to start into season 3 pretty quickly. There isn't going to be a break. Let's be honest. I'm Declan. I'm normally the dungeon master around these parts. But I think tonight again proves that Amber should definitely run an adventure. Definitely 100% should 100% do it. Stop putting it off. Just do it, Amber. You are really, really fucking good at this. I had an absolute blast getting to play Brindlewood Bay. Firstly, it's so much fun. We shared the link to it in the chat there, so you can check it out. And more importantly, I had so much fun getting to play in my world. And you did a phenomenal job of bringing in just the kind of characters that I definitely imagine have like a winter house in Nevermount, because it's on the coast and it's where they have their little bougie parties outside of the city. And absolute blast. For more of our stuff, make sure you're following us on social media at D8 Dungeon. That's D8 Dungeon on literally every platform. We do have a new show coming out in less than 2 weeks. We'll be streaming once again as we return to another homebrew world of mine, and we begin to revisit the world of Dowen, and a new story set in what once was Rise of the Forsaken is now a new campaign and a new adventure with some new players and some returning players, and that is starting on November 6th. Now, the first episode is going to be pre-recorded, and we will be having a full live watch through with the cast and myself. So hopefully we will see you then. We recorded before the prologue. So we will be recording the prologue episode next week ahead of our premiere on the 6th of November. So I hope to see you for then. And I also think that maybe we should be bullying Amber into running a campaign. That's the thing that I will now be actively trying to do going forward. That is a thing that I'm going to do. And we're hoping to kind of breathe a bit more life back into our Twitch space as well. So do check us out on social media. And if you're not already over on our Discord, come hang out on our Discord. There are some lovely, lovely folks over there.
And you can bully Amber there as well.
And you can bully Amber into it there too.
The whole channel for it.
Yeah, it's the Bully Amber channel. That's kind of hard to say really fast. But there's the link to the Discord server if you're still about and you want to jump in. Come in and do say hi. I am thinking I might run a murder mystery play by post over the week for Halloween. It's a thing that I like to do, and I haven't done one in quite some time. So I think if you're up for playing, if you like a bit of murder and a little bit of sex and a little bit of math, well then it might be your cup of tea. None of all those things. None of those things, please. But yeah, kudos to you, Amber, in a big way. Thank you so much for such a fun evening.
Thanks for being great players.
That's me. I'm done too. Okay.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.